That should have been a blooper. They've been telling me to record my bloopers. Okay, you ready?
Yes,
ready?
sir.
All right, one. Okay, here we go. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Across the Table, where the drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are fire. Sitting across the table from me is Mr. This is the man you need to talk to. He does everything that it takes for a brother to be smooth. Like everything. This man is into wine. He is into fashion. He's a basketball coach. He got his own fragrance. I'm sitting across the table from my man, Shaun Scott. How are you?
What's going on, my man?
Man, I'm maintaining, man.
Man, that's what I like to hear, brother.
Man, that is what's up. Oh, and he brought his wine with him that I'm about to have for the first time. So let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and
cheers it up.
let's go ahead and raise our glasses to a good interview.
Yes, sir.
Here's to you. Some good shit.
I appreciate
That
it.
is some good shit.
I appreciate it.
It's you make a fancy dinner with this.
Yeah.
This is
With that
filet.
one. With that one. Yeah, that's the Pinot Noir.
Yeah, this is filet mignon with a side of fried asparagus, extra crispy. That's this.
A nice steak with this.
Yeah, that's this. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in. What made you get into wine?
Honestly, what got me into wine, I remember, if everybody remembers the Drake line, it's a celebration, clap, clap, bravo, lobster, shrimp, and a glass of Moscato. I think the song came out 2009. So literally my first introduction to wine was from Drake dropping that line. So Moscato is a sweet wine. Eventually my taste matured and I got into like some of the drier wines. So Cabernet, Pinot Noir, and that literally what got me started into wine, and then what eventually evolved into my taste. And then as we all know what happened in 2020,
Right, like the world closing.
Exactly. I pretty much told myself anything that I have a likening to, I either want to either own myself or invest in. So our best friend, Google itself, google.com, I just Google, wineries in Ohio, wineries in Michigan. And luckily for the past 2 years, I've been partnered with the winery in Novi, Michigan, where Esco wine was birthed.
Nice. So it's called Esco.
Esco, yes.
I've been calling it Escoze because of the thing.
Esco. No, it's
Esco. All right.
Yes.
All right, man. This is some good shit. This is some good shit. Now, you also said you also have a fragrance too.
Yes, I do.
Okay. How did you get into that? And if someone wanted to have their own fragrance created, where would they start?
Google is our best friend. So literally Google. My father and my grandfather, they were smooth cats, keep a sharp suit, had their nice cologne. So ever since I was a young child, like suits, I'm known for. Everybody knows me. Oh, you always dressed up. So I always had a nice suit, and then keep myself well groomed. to learn that from my father, and I've been wearing cologne since I was a kid. So literally ever since I was birthed, that's where cologne was birthed in me. And like I said,
so you were just built to be a smooth motherfucker.
I guess. Salute to my grandfather and my pops.
Yeah, sometimes some cats have it in them, and some cats have to get it in them. Like I'm one of the cats that I had to get it in me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have my pops, so I didn't have anybody to teach me how to be smooth. I learned how to tie a tie off of YouTube. You understand what I'm saying?
YouTube and Google, I'm telling you, they teach us everything.
So just the contrast is always interesting me, and is always it's dope to hear that the men in your family passed down basic grooming, which is now like a talking point.
Yeah, so it's like, hearing men and women talk about, I want a man who keeps himself well groomed. I feel as if that's a necessity. Like, I feel that's not a necessity of something that has to be taught. Like, I've been taught it since I was a kid, so that's just something that I've known that's just instilled with me. Right. So like to hear it now, it's like, what's cats out here doing nowadays? But it's no knock from the ones who had to be taught. I mean, it's not knocking anybody's situation. Right. If you didn't have a man. I was raised by my parents divorced when I was in the first grade, but luckily I still had a relationship with my father, and he was still able to teach me and groom me the things of, as what he thought me being a man should be. So that's always been instilled and taught to me. So that's kind of a little bit of my upbringing, how I am who I am today.
That is what's up. That is what's up. I'm kind of jealous of you.
Everybody's story is different.
You right.
Everybody's story is different.
That's true. That's true. This is some good shit.
Yeah. But to keep going off of how I got into the fragrance, like same thing. Just Googled how do I make my own cologne, and then just what was it? Like it's like not like a perfume mania, or it was there's another place in Cleveland where you can make your own fragrances. But I wanted to expand. They really didn't give me the flexibility to literally create my own wine, so I just expanded. So I went to Illinois. So there's a place, a shop in Illinois, where I get to mix and match my own oils, and that's where I created my first 5 fragrances.
Word.
Yeah.
I need one.
I got you.
I'm
all sold out.
I know.
But once I re-release, I got you.
Yeah, I need one. That's necessary.
I got you.
Links will be in the description for everything. So support my man's right here. He'll get you right.
I appreciate it.
He'll get you right. So
I appreciate it.
Everything that was brought down to you from your father from your grandfather to your father to you, as far as grooming and staying smooth. Why do you think that it has become such a talking point? Because, like I said, basic grooming is a thing. And I didn't know that basic grooming was a thing. I thought it was just basic grooming, like shit that you were supposed to do. Right. So what makes you... why is it a talking point right now?
I mean, because some men lack it, and... or reasons being fathers not being in the house and single mothers raising their kids. I mean, I'm not saying all situations are like that, but if you think about it, I'm not saying a woman can't. I mean, I feel as if my mother did an amazing job at raising me who I am today, but it's just some things that you need a man to teach a man to do, and basic grooming is one of those things. So if you don't have a man in the household to teach you about the basic necessities of how to tie a tie, knowing how to line yourself up, teach you about suits, teach you about fragrances, I mean, where else are you going to learn it?
Right.
So if you don't have anybody to teach you, I mean, unless you have, an older cousin, a big brother, an uncle, or grandfather, somebody in your community to teach you those things, they become null and void. So if you're not raised around it, nobody has taught you, where else are you going to learn? So I'll just feel as if some men, wherever their situation may have been or are what it is right now, is just the lack thereof. And me personally, that's what I think. Well, primarily, I pray to God, I hope men don't want to be well groomed. So I don't think you want to walk around not smelling funky.
I always said that I would never be that guy.
Yeah.
Because I hear how they talk about that guy.
Exactly.
No matter where I go, I always say I smell amazing. Listen. And nobody can say anything different.
Yeah, you don't got to spray cologne, but don't be walking around funky.
Right.
Make sure you shower.
Right.
Let's make sure you shower. I mean, and being a basketball coach is like, having some of my players come out of practice and just want to go somewhere. It's like, wait, you ain't gonna go home and wash up first?
Right.
But that's like some of like the smaller things. Like, nah, go home, shower up first, put on some new drawers, put on some new clothes, and then you could go out. But just like the basic necessities of just cleaning and washing yourself, is sometimes they have to be taught.
True.
If you don't know, if you don't know, you don't know.
Right. If you don't know, you don't know.
If you don't know, you don't know.
True that. Now, went over the fashion, went over the wine, went over the cologne. Mm-hmm. Basketball coach.
Yes.
Is there a specific age group that you coach?
So at first, my first year, I've been a coach now for 7 years. I first started out with 7th and 8th grade, then moved up to assistant varsity, and then now I'm a head JV basketball coach.
Where at?
Scott High School.
Word. Yeah. Oh, you got that shit right. Boys, girls, both?
Boys.
What's that like? Because I know, just based off of what we just discussed about a father not being at home and Scott being one of the most prolific schools in the city, there's a good chance you might run into that just because of the prestigious of the name. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's that like, dealing with youngsters that might have gone through that and don't understand the other side of it?
Oh, it's definitely fulfilling. Like, I don't have any children of my own, so I don't even look at my players as my players. I literally call them my kids. You know, so I use basketball as a tool to teach them about life, because there's so many lessons that you go through on a basketball court that are going to be very, very similar to what you're going to experience in life. So it's like literally taking their day-to-day walks and comparing that to what they do on the basketball court, and literally seeing where some of my kids start, you know, from October to where they end in February is definitely fulfilling, definitely a fulfilling process of watching them grow and mature, and them using the sport that they love and play every day to watch them not only grow on the basketball court, but off the basketball court as well.
So are you more of a path of guidance first, coach second kind of person, or are you always coach?
A collaboration of both, honestly. A collaboration of both, honestly, because there may be some times where I got to talk for 15, 20 to 30 minutes before practice, and we're not even talking about basketball. Or I'm talking to you after, and we're not even really talking about what we just did for the past 2 hours, where I have to dig into like what's going on with you.
Right.
And then them telling me about the situations that they're going through, and me being able to correlate, you know, how to overcome what they're going through at home up to what they just done and on the basketball court. So if you can achieve this on a basketball court, you're not going to be able to sit up and tell me that you can't do school is too hard. What you mean school is too hard? I just ran you for 2 hours straight. You just did that. So you mean you can't sit at home for 15 minutes and concentrate and get your work done? So it's just correlating what they do on the court to off the court, and them being able to, and instilling them that don't ever say, you can't ever take the word never out of your vocabulary. You can achieve anything you set your mind to, because I've seen you do it. And as soon as you tell me the standard is set for what you can achieve, I'm not going to allow you to go below that. And that's sustaining. That is definitely fulfilling part, and giving them what they need to do to be successful on and off the basketball court is, if I was to equate it or correlate it to like being a parent, I can only imagine what being a father is going to be like. Man, I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine.
I don't have any myself.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine. Like, it's like you're touching a lot of children in a place where they probably aren't used to being reached, simply because you're a man. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to ask that question, because like I said, a lot of us we're products of single mom homes. And Scott being the biggest high school in the city, you bound to run into him. Like, so now, kitchen talk. Yeah. What made you start that?
So my brothers and I, 2000, probably right out of high school, our first 2 years in college, we were just, similar to other friends, like y'all talk about everything, like from relationships, current events, women, music. Like all of us have the same exact discussions, but it just so happened all of our discussions happened in the kitchen. It was for whatever it was. No Valley at his house. All of our conversations, kitchen talk literally was birthed in Nove Allen's house. Like literally all the conversations would be in the kitchen. So literally he was like, you know what? I'm going to cook some food. He's an excellent cook. He said, I'm going to cook some food, get some drinks, invite our friends over, and we're just going to have these discussions that we're having amongst ourselves with our friends. And literally that was like a hit for like a year,
Absolutely.
2 years. Like everybody couldn't wait to come to a kitchen talk.
Absolutely.
And so, life happens, so it died off a little bit. And then it just popped in my head, you know what? We haven't had a kitchen talk in a while. but what if we recorded it? But this was around a time where podcasts weren't like what they are now.
Right.
Some of them are off the ground, but a lot of podcasts weren't off the ground yet. So I was like, you know what? What if we recorded our kitchen talks? So I called him like, yo, what if we recorded our kitchen talks? And he was like, well, we ain't never really thought about it. So I was like, all right, forget it. I'm gonna just go ahead and
Let's just run it.
I'm gonna run it, like literally. And
I
so
feel you. I feel you.
I'll learn it on the way, but I'm not gonna say I didn't do it. So literally, one of my fraternity brothers, he was getting into, like I said, this was around the time that videography was just starting to take off, like the early stages. And so hooked up with him, found the venue, invited friends that were already familiar with Kitchen Talk already, and literally is just been what it was ever since. Literally.
Okay. Now, I noticed that a lot of them were geared around relationships.
I mean, because that's the big talk. That's the big topic that everybody has.
Right.
That is a big topic that everybody has an opinion, and a lot of people aren't afraid to voice their opinion because, all of us have been in relationships. So good and bad. And, that's just the topic that everybody loves to talk about.
True that. It seems to be the hot
isn't
topic.
just about, relationships. Like, we talk about everything, but that's just the topic that gets everybody going.
Why do you think that is? Because I've noticed the big spike in relationship talk all through pretty much every social media sector there is. Somebody's posting relationship advice about this. A man should do this. A woman should do that. If a man doesn't do this, he doesn't love you, and vice versa. Like, what's the fight about?
I don't think it's necessarily a fight. I mean, if you're in love, why not express it? If you have bad relationships, I gotta get this shit off. Like, you gotta learn. Listen,
like,
women, you gotta know about this man and what he did. And men is like, man, let me tell you about this woman right here. So it's literally, it's like, if there's really no in between, it's like, I'm gonna voice my love or I'm gonna voice my hate. It's one of the two. And it's like, all of us have been in relationships where they're either good or they're bad. Yeah. There's really there's some in between, but literally you deeply in love, or you just like, yo, this was the worst experience ever
in my life.
Facts. And 9 times out of 10, it's the latter. Like, people just like voicing their complaints about, the opposite sex. Why is that? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
I wish I had an answer for that question. I really don't know.
Because it's like, I'm sick of the fight. Yeah. I'm sick of the constant bickering.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of the fight.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of fighting, especially since I'm fighting a fight I didn't start. Like, I don't have nothing to do with this.
But
like,
I can say the reasons my relationships have failed was, I could take full-fledged. At the time I couldn't, but now, like, thinking back on it, it was all my fault. It was all my fault.
Right.
I'm never gonna blame any woman that I was involved with as the reason why, because who I am now isn't who I was then.
Right.
Like, it's like everybody's emotional maturation, that I like to say, is different. And so developing my own emotional intelligence, I've always knew and was cognizant of her feelings. It's in knowing her feelings and being able to act on it was my issue. And it was like, I was selfish during them times, and you got to be selfless in a relationship. And it was like, I don't care. I'm not doing nothing about it. So I can.
You're just gonna do you.
I don't care. I'm gonna do me. I'm so like, oh well. Oh, whatever happens, happens. I said what I said, or I ain't gonna do nothing. And I could literally say, like, that was the down. And anyone, because what would be my downfall? My blunt assholeness would be the downfall. Like, I'm dead ass. My blunt assholeness would be it. Like, just selfish, man. Like, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't because everybody's love language is different. and you can't put what you would want somebody to do on somebody else. And that's literally what, well, I wouldn't do that, or this isn't what I want. So being that I wouldn't do that,
fuck it.
Fuck it.
Just fuck it.
Literally, fuck it. You know? And it's like just learning, just learning your partner's love language. That's, I'm like, listen, whatever woman is watching this, this might be for you.
Oh shit.
I can't, man, listen. Man,
You got that shit
listen.
right.
Man, it's on the next woman who I'm going to be
You got that
involved
shit
with.
right.
Who next woman out who I'm involved with, brother. I hope she ready. But yeah, man.
Now,
Yeah.
you can't just say that
Yes, I can.
and then what do you mean? Like, are you talking about how you've grown up and your mindset?
Yeah. How I've grown up in my mindset right now is like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous of all my friends in a relationship right now.
You and me both. All my friends are either married or they about to get married.
Like I'm full-fledged jealous. Full-fledged jealous.
Right.
I love love. And it's like, damn, I play the third wheel a lot. And I hate playing the third wheel. Like, nah, bruh.
You was the guy taking the L?
Man, I would have taken the L, but it's like, man, you're over there lovey-dovey. I'm by myself. Man,
Damn.
forget that I'm leaving.
Right.
Like, you're too much in love for me right now, and I ain't got nobody. Forget that,
I'm
bruh.
leaving.
Like, I'm leaving,
out.
man. Like, but nah,
We outta
bruh.
here.
Like, it's like where I am right now, like the level and like it's a what people say when you turn 30, like the light switch goes off. For men, they say the light switch starts going off around that time.
Yeah.
And it's like I can definitely feel that. I'm definitely feel on all levels, like spiritually, emotionally, physically, like all levels, mentally. Like I'm feeling that now, and I'm ready for the next.
It's like something in your brain clicks
Yeah,
and you like, I'm gonna go do that. And then you just go do it. That's really what it is.
Yeah, man.
But see, that's another thing that I kind of wish I would have done differently, and I wish I would have had back. I wish I would have had somebody tell me to use my 20s to build.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have been we all would have been a whole hell of a lot farther than we are now. So, do you think that because the youngsters out here are getting the knowledge that we should have got 20 years ago, do you think that that's why the dynamic in the relationship pool is changing? And the dynamic in the shark infested waters of our dating pool? Like, do you think that that's why the dynamic changed?
Dynamics changing in what way?
Like, these youngsters, they are not for it, like, at all. They are like, I don't know how to put it, but they are more blunt and they are more straight to the point than we were back in the day. They like pretty much everything that we did back in the day, they would call simping. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like they not doing none of that. And the women are like, we want what they had. So you're not going to get what you want unless you give us what they had. So it's like this big fight, this big tug of war. Like, do you think that that might be a reason why everything is so
Some
crazy?
of it, I'm gonna blame social media.
Ooh.
Some of it, and I'm gonna blame our grandparents are no longer here, and our older aunts and uncles they're transitioning as well. And so those were the examples of love that we saw. Like my grandparents, they were together until death. Like my older aunts and uncles, they are going to be together until death, and they're older in age. And now we're coming into the generation of like the split and single parent household. So if we've never seen that example, and if we're looking, everybody always got a phone in their hand, and the influence of social media, we have no back to when I was like, if you don't have that example of seeing, where are you going to get that from?
Right.
If love isn't being preached and shown on the forefront, you're not going to know what that is, and you're not going to have the first person view of seeing what love is from our older ancestors and our older elders, because they're no longer here.
Right.
So where are we going to learn that from? Like, we're definitely not going to learn it from social media.
True that. True that.
And if you go on social media, you're going to have to like literally search for it. It's not in the forefront. So if love isn't being seen, if love isn't being preached, it's like, well, hot girl summer, hot boy summer until the day I
That
die.
is so trash.
Hot girl summer, hot boy summer to the day I die.
That is so trash.
I mean, listen. That's what it is. That's what it is, my guy.
I hate it here, bro. That's what's up, though.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it because you're removing yourself from it and looking at it for what it is. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to remove how I feel about it and look at it for what it is. And like I said, I just see this fight that I don't want no part of because I didn't start it. I don't know who started it, and I don't want to jump in it because I don't know what's happening here. Like, I don't know what's going on. So,
I mean, but at the end of the day, everybody wants love.
True.
At the end of the day, everybody, whether you know it or you don't, at the end of because we weren't created here to just be by ourselves.
That's true. We're a social people.
Exactly.
Like, we're supposed to be together.
So whether you accept it or not, you can fight it all you want, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get about maybe in your younger 20s now, you're gonna get probably in your mid 30s like, oh yeah, I want somebody. Even it's doing you. In the back of your mind, you really want somebody. You just saying this just for fodder. Just because everybody else is saying it's the cool thing to say. But
it's like a facade you put
exactly. But at the end of the day, sleeping by yourself at night is gonna get boring.
Yeah, it does.
You're gonna want something warm in them cold nights. You're gonna want something warm in them cold nights. So you only lying to who you lying to. You lying to me or you lying to yourself. Like, come on now.
True that.
Keep it real.
True that. All right, now let's get back to the wine here.
Yes.
You got your red.
Yes.
What were the other two? Were they all the same?
So I have 4. I have Pinot Noir, which we are drinking right now.
Okay.
I also have a Pinot Noir. I have a Pinot Noir and a Pinot Grigio. Those are more so less the drier wines, more so less for the more mature wine drinker who knows what they likes. It's it's deeper, drier on the palate. Then I also have a Moscato and a Sweet Red. Those are for the more like people who like the more, I wouldn't say less mature, but the amateur wine drinkers, or those who just like sweet wine. I mean, no knock on you, but those who like sweet wines, like I said, I got into wine myself drinking Moscato off of a Drake lyric. So
off of a Drake lyric.
So I'm like,
that's crazy how far this man's hand is. That's
but
crazy.
Yeah, literally.
This man is starting businesses off of one bar. That's crazy.
Yeah, but those are my 4, and those are the 4 that I'm gonna stick with. Like Pinot Noir, that's my favorite wine. Pinot Grigio, that's the most common, the most purchased wine in the world. And then Sweet Red and Moscato. I mean, I know a lot of family who don't like the darker, drier wine, so I just did that for them, just for them to have something to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Now, I'm going to bring it all together.
Yeah.
Because I want to ask you something.
Got you.
We're both kind of in the content creation space. Pretty sure you heard of Kevin Samuels.
Yes.
Heard the man passed away.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels.
Rest in peace.
A lot of people are hurt behind it. Did it affect you in any way? It kind of affected me only because we had 2 things in common. He was a product of a single mom home, just like me, and he was a cancer survivor, just like me. Like I believe he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had thyroid cancer. So to see a man from kind of sort of the same background, kind of at base level as me, reach where he was, I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's when I started like watching him and paying attention to him. But I actually stopped watching him for a while because I figured there was a point in time where I was so focused on doing what I was supposed to do that what he was talking about didn't affect me because he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to the high value men and the women that want these high value men. And I'm not high value yet. I'm valuable, but I'm not to the point where I should be a part of this conversation. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to work. And when I get to that point, then I'll come back over here and we can talk. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So after that, I just stopped watching him. I didn't really watch him that regularly. I used to see clips. Everybody put clips of him on and make their own interpretation of the clips. This man has made a lot of people a lot of money too. So
definitely.
a lot of these content creators wouldn't have a check if Kevin Samuels didn't put out content.
Wow.
And that's word to everything.
Yes.
That's word to everything.
Yes. And some of I believe in some of what he said? Yes. Did I disagree with some of what he said? Yes. But I think a lot of what he was saying was some truth. But I think when he got to a certain point, I think some of what he was saying literally was just for shock value. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of what he was saying was for shock value,
for the entertainment side.
Yeah,
of it?
for the. I mean, because you've now reached the pinnacle of where you've ever been. And so
1 million subscribers on 2 platforms. That's not heard of.
So just by you yourself solely just talking to women, but it's solely based off of you. And how do you keep that going? Shock value. Do I think he believed some of the stuff he was saying? No, but I think a lot of it was shock value. The only thing that what really affected me was you're going, even though what you're saying may or may not be relatable to some people, at the end of the day, somebody is watching and somebody is listening. And in him passing, if he was to look now, there's no way he would have understood or would have thought he would have touched so many people.
Right.
He touched a lot more people than what he thought. And so in being in content creation, just taking that example of me just really being mindful and using my platform for what I want, and really standing on something. Because whether you have 1 subscriber, 2, whether you think 1 or 2 people are listening, more people are paying attention than what you really thought. And I never would have thought, like, I'll be on and off social media, right? But
yeah, I deactivate for a period of time, and
but it's like, I never would have thought Kevin Samuel, you wouldn't necessarily look at him as a celebrity. That celebrity grew, but he wasn't necessarily a celebrity. And literally for 2 days straight, that's all that people were talking about. And
still, there are people still talking about this man.
But it's like, so there's somebody is always watching, somebody is always listening, and 9 times out of 10, it's more people than who you really think.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
that is scary.
But in doing that, you just stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself in everything that you do. You got to stay true. You got to keep it 100 with yourself, and then everything else will follow.
Right.
But like, use your platform accordingly. Because I never would have thought he would have touched that many people, like, ever. Ever.
I could see it only because I kind of knew where everything was veering. Mm-hmm. Like you said, everybody got a cell phone in their hand. So why not put something that they can watch on their cell phone and make it quickly available for that quick validation? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the backlash on what I'm seeing on the back of it, I would have never seen that. Mm-hmm. I would have never seen that part of it.
I mean, nobody likes being told what you should be doing or what would make you valuable or not valuable. Like, no woman or man wants to hear that. So I can understand from a woman's perspective why they would hate some of the things in which that he was saying. Like my man, you can't say it. Like, you can say it, but you got to know the backlash and what was gonna come with this.
Right. You know it's coming your way.
You know it's coming your way. Like we were talking about relationships. Everybody, you're either gonna talk about the good, you're gonna talk about the bad. Well, if you're gonna talk about the bad, you're gonna talk about the reason why some of it is bad. And well, the reason why it's bad because you X, Y, and Z. Nobody wants to be told that. Man or woman, children, they don't want to be told why they are receiving what they're receiving and how they're not eligible to be what they think they should be receiving. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody feels as if they should have the best of the best, whether they think they deserve it or not. You can't tell nobody. Never mind.
Because I can hear the frustration in your voice. Like I can hear it.
Nobody
I can
wants
hear
to
it.
hear that. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. But toast up to Kevin Samuels.
Toast up and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, man.
Here's to you.
Toast up, man. I always tell myself when using this platform, I could just touch one person. If I could just touch one, I've done my job. Or whatever comes after that, hey, it is what it is. But
Right.
if you can just one follower, one, just give me one consistent follower, I'm good. Because I would have never, and sometimes I'd say they're complete strangers that you would never, like I said, people who wouldn't think be paying attention.
Right.
So you have one consistent follower, man, that doesn't know you from a can of paint. I've done my job. And I'm blessed and I'm happy of it.
That is what's up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Got you.
Top 3 fragrances. No, top 5. Top 5 fragrances.
All right, that are not my own.
that are not your own. Not in any necessary order.
That are not my own. Bond number 9, New York Nights. Bond number 9, Greenwich Village. Tom Ford, Noir Extreme. Polo Red. And my 5th, it'll be a and I've actually made this. So my 5, it's a combination. So in one of my fragrances, I use the notes of Aventus Creed and Polo Black.
Ooh.
And so a combination of Creed and Polo Black.
You've mixed those?
Yes. I mixed the notes of Creed and Polo Black. Wow. But those 5 will be my top 5.
Wow. And you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Aside from the last 2, the only one I'd even heard of on that list was Tom Ford Noir Extreme, because I wear that.
Yeah.
Where did I get that from? Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Tom
But
Ford.
I'm a sweet. I like sweet smells. Because I feel as if like they last and they linger longer. But the Creed and the Polo Black, those are more so less the what do they call them? I forgot the exact term. I'm still trying to learn myself as far as like cologne and all that. But those are like the more lighter smelling scents that I have. Light but strong, you know. But yeah, that would be a combination of a tie for 5th would be Creed and Polo Black.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it from Mr. I do everything that it takes to be smooth. This has been. Oh, wait a minute. Plug Esco Wine. Plug where they can get it.
Esco Wine, you can go to www.theescowines.com for all your purchases. And yes, I do ship. I can ship across the world. So yes, I can ship.
And there you have it. The links will be in the description. Once again, this has been Across the Table with Shaun Scott.
Appreciate it, brother.
Drinks are cold, mics are hot, conversations are fire. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate
Here's to you.
Yes.
Till next time. In a minute.